All right. I think we are live. Can I make this any bigger? All right, cool. I think we're live. Using my computer, my POS computer. What's up, dude? Brought the trail rig. This thing basically saved my sanity while we've been covered in snow and ice. And then obviously have the main guy. Yeah, this is terrible. Like for the first week before it started melting the ice on top, it was super fun because my son and I could take our trail trucks out, and it was actually kind of fun and enjoyable. And once it started melting and I was falling through it, and after all of us fell so many times, we're quite over it. So cannot wait for it to warm up. And today we are lucky. It is about 18 degrees outside with a feel like in the negatives. So, but yeah, want to be consistent here. Want to have a weekly video up for you guys or go live when I can't get a video. But yeah, went live a little bit early, so hopefully more people show up, and then shoot off questions, comments, concerns, and I'm going to go through. Wonder if I can get my computer to sit a little higher. Is that going to help? Is that going to make it worse? I feel like it just needs to be further away. Dude, that's crazy. Our expectations today are basically real temperature of like mid to high teens, feel like just under negative with like 50-mile-an-hour gusts as well. This is not my favorite, but I like when the trucks in the shop, but I'm so tall. Do these chairs go down? They don't go down. But yeah, getting this thing dialed in for snow driving has made I don't know, like it's actually made me really like the Defender body way more than I originally thought. So like it came with the full-on rack, and when my son had this, like he broke all the accessories on the back, and I just put the jerry cans back there. I found out that I could take off the roof rack, and then can you see it? Maybe I put 6 bolts. I tapped the windows on the inside and got this down to, okay. I don't know what's going on. Can you still see me? That error just popped up. I don't want to click on it. Okay, cool. Yeah, some error just popped up on this. It's the first time I've done it on the computer. My son thrashes all of his trucks and everything, so I can't believe that his is still running. Like last summer or the summer last summer or the summer before, when his was still the F-150. We were crawling, and he just drove it straight off a 10-foot boulder, and it just like smashed on the ground. Like the body went one way, the rest of the truck went the other way. I was like, that really sucks. That's really trash. And we went down, picked it up, and it was still perfectly functioning. The body didn't even break, and snapped it back on and started driving. And then he flipped it over in a puddle, and somehow it still worked. But yeah, he has destroyed some bodies, and I feel bad because like every so often he wants to drive this, and I'll let him do it, but the hinge mounts in the back super fragile. Like when I got this body, some of my friends are into this hobby too. Messaged me and they're like, "You're not gonna have that body for that long." That's crazy. I Do you run aluminum housings now? Like one thing that I don't really like is on the 4Ms, you can probably see it right there. The wheels are kind of like bowed in, and I don't know why. It's just how like rear ones are. Yes. So I looked that up. I was trying to find all the videos and like figure out which one of the videos has him like driving it when it was completely done. And I saw a little bit of it, but I didn't watch the full because it was like an hour long or hour and 10 minute long episode. So yours is the 4M clone. I've been seeing a lot of pictures of those, but um, I'll figure out how to get this thing going. I don't know how to get the air thing going. Yeah, I've seen that. I don't know uh, essentially anything about it other than that. I've been wondering if like foreign parts. Okay, cool. That's sweet. Because like I was wondering if the foreign parts actually still fit that one with it being a clone because I wasn't sure how much stuff like transferred over. Like one thing um, about my builds is like clearly I use stock chassis. It's like one thing that I say all the time, but all whereby the Traxxas suspension links. Like I have not had any issues with these at all. And like I sanded down the front ones, the front lower ones, to get the wheelbase a hair shorter, just to turn the rear axle a hair. But the Enduro ones I drove for a little bit. I put on my son's truck, and he has pulled so many end links out. And like this one has, don't mind the hair from driving around the carpet. Um, this one has the Muse aluminum ones, which are sweet. I was so psyched that they made black ones because like I prefer them to be all black. But the end links that came with this were not the best. So this one has all Indra end links. Yeah, post it up so I can see it. Um, yeah, so my son and I switched some stuff out. Been trying to upgrade my truck and get it like fully dialed in, and this has been getting tons of spare parts, and I'm actually so stoked on how this thing performs and just drives. And like for having a Land Rover body, like my friend got this and it was completely stock, and like any kind of movement it would just flip right over. But I took like 30 grams off the body by taking the roof rack and the back pieces off. And now it's the same as my son's Cherokee body. And like, I I would say that I get my truck in a pretty good bind. I've even I had not Traxxas, I had Trial overdrive gears on this truck. And once I put underdrive in the back to give it like 33%, it like just sheared off some of the teeth on the front Trial gears. So I just went to having underdrive in the back and stock gear ratio on the front. And I was running Traxxas gears because I like the straight teeth on them, not realizing that was causing more noise, but I knew that they were pretty durable and I had the teeth wear, but like they were still drivable. They just kind of clicked a little bit. I'm sure that you can hear me talk about it in some of my other videos. So in the last week, I just finally put the spare Endura stock gear ratio diff gears in, and also even with the Traxxas gears, I took one of the washers and put in it. That helped the last set that I just took out not really wear that much. There's still some wear, but not nearly as much. But this made it a little bit quieter. I have a new motor for this that's coming today. So let's see. This is currently how it's set up. I have the Dumbo RC receiver, the Python Pro ESC, by far my favorite Cedar motor, but I ordered the Little Guy Racing micro or mini Outrunner one. It's still the 3450. Can't think of what it's called. Like the rating of the motor. I don't know why I'm having a brain fart. I ordered that because I want to try to get like low speed dialed in as much as possible. Been tuning this a whole bunch and got to drive a rock yesterday and realized I should not tune this with wood core I have at home. I should wait until I'm actually out on the rocks because I had to change it back quite a bit. So, yeah. I'm excited for that. And then also yesterday, I'm super bummed. I've been having issues with the remotes. And I don't know if this is going to come across. So right here you can see my steering's -2, but I normally drive like this, and it like, obviously it's not going to do it. Okay, cool. It's calling me a liar. Oh, there it is. It doesn't set back properly. Oh, I don't know. Like me driving one-handed like this seems to be how I'm actually destroying all my remotes. So I ordered just the Muse one that my son has because he, once again, has thrashed it and it somehow is still lasting. So, highly recommend bearings throughout the whole truck. This one, I am trans bearings 100%. Like, you need to do it. Just buy the whole kit and just slowly go through it. In the front axle, it helps a lot. The whole rear axle also has bushings so far. But since we were driving this in snow and trying to not get any of the main parts or anything wet, because I'm very much like, I like tinkering and dialing stuff in, but I hate working on stuff for no reason. It's kind of one of my love hates with working at bike shops for so much of my life. I hated the people that just didn't care about stuff and complained that it didn't work. Um, but so I got my son a Python Pro ESC for Christmas, and I was having him use. I don't know if he actually used this Homes Hobby. He used the Traxxas stock motor, and the drag brake was nowhere to be found. Like, it just, I hate to say it, but it sucked. And I even set it to like brush motor, just any of the settings I really adjusted on there, like, I don't know, did not seem to make the brush motor work well at all. So I actually put his Indra brushed ESC that he originally had back in it, and it's like night and day better. Like, he's running the stock Traxxas motor with the Indra 24:1 gear ratio, Trail overdrive in the front, and Traxxas metal gears and stock ratio in the back. And his truck's actually pretty sweet. It's still faster than this one, because I wanted to race and see what it was like. The Homes Hobby 66 with a 40:1 ratio with the same differential gears. And my goal for him in the future is I'm going to get him a Homes Hobby 87 turn motor, leave the 24:1 ratio, because he does like having a little more speed, but having that motor makes it super nice and slow crawl. But to get his truck slower in the future is I'm going to do the same ratio that I have and do stock gears in the front and then underdrive in the rear. So this literally is the same ratio that I had before I went to brushless, and now driving it is not as bad as I expected it to be. Not that it's bad at all. But I actually think my son's ratio, if I went back to brushed, I would use the Indra ESC unless I could somehow figure out the FureTech. I would prefer FureTech, but the Indra one on his truck right now is sweet. The Homes Hobby motor to get better magnets for hopefully better drag brake. And then I would do stock gears and underdrive in the back to slow his truck down a hair, but it still has plenty of top speed. So this one, with having this motor, I feel like it's just a hair hard to get going with the stock electronics. Trying to get all your messages. So I had the GT5, and my hand seems to be like, this is not working. So it seems like I have a middle hand size. So like this remote I was stoked on because I could just completely comfortably drive it. The GT5, the steering wheel is a hair out further, so it kind of rotate it in my hand. My first GT5 worked for 2 months before the steering sensor failed. The second GT5 worked for like 9 months maybe, and then it started failing. And then this one I've had for not quite 2 months, and I always have it so the screen goes black to try to save as much battery. And I guess I didn't notice it failing. Driving wise, it doesn't like have any issues as of right now. But I tried putting a LiPo in here, which this remote's super sweet. I just wish I wasn't having this issue because I'm nervous about um, it not. We driving like bulkhead rocks and like around salt water. Like I'm super nervous about my truck falling in the water, and I don't want it to disconnect at all. And some things I've been reading on like the Facebook or Reddit states that like when this happens, sometimes it won't uh, connect and your truck will just kind of roll. I'm super nervous about that. It's slow and low. Been that way since the Volkswagen. So from my understanding with the GT5 is it seems to be a lot more like the old ones are better and the new ones are becoming more. I don't know if that's the case with doing it. With this one failing too, I have to understand that I have to take reliability of it being my fault with driving one-handed like this. So I don't know. The remote that my son has, I always thought it was like too small for my hand because I bought myself one originally, and I'm just realizing I need to get used to it because I need something reliable. And if I'm breaking remotes multiple times a year, I'd rather buy a super cheap one as long as it stays connected. That's the Radio Master MT12, right? I was really looking at that one before I got this one and got nervous because it seemed to be super complicated on how to set it up and get it all good to go. But also my son's Muse battery lasts way longer than his remote. This one's not super bad with the rechargeable AA's, but I was trying to go with a LiPo, and that's when I noticed, because I was paying a lot more attention to the screen, and noticed that the steering was glitching. Yeah, so my family and I are really trying to come up to the Northeast and like adventure around there all summer. Yesterday was my wife's birthday, and unfortunately, we were like trying to dig something out in the bus in our like storage closet thing, and with all the snow melting, trying to melt, realized that we have a leak somewhere, and like the floor is like soaked in there. So we're gonna have to pull the whole closet pantry thing all the way out and rip the floor up, and I don't know, bus life. But the way my wife puts it, which I agree with, is even if we had a house, we would still have issues. So right now we just have something that's smaller that we can do ourselves. But back to that is, yes, we're definitely trying to make it up to the Northeast, like Mass and Maine and Vermont, Connecticut. We really want to explore it around there. I'll definitely tell her happy birthday. That's sweet that you came from FPV. Uh, I have a couple drones. I have the all DJI. I have the Maverick 2, which somehow I have still working. My dad gave it to me. Wait, Jim, I always get um, your name doesn't pop up. You and someone else have very similar like the URL things. I always get that mixed up. But yeah, we will definitely be up towards there, North PA. I really want to check out Allegheny, like National Forest area. That's sweet. One of my best friends, he built a FPV drone like, I don't know, 10 years ago. Like, it was wild watching him get it up, flying and everything. My dad gave me his Maverick 2 when he got like the 2S, and like these, when you drive them, like you let off the throttle and they immediately stop, and not flying a drone hardly at all. I didn't realize they like stop like boats, so you stop and they still like drift along. And I like pinned it to like raise it, and went way faster than I thought. I let off the throttles and it still drifted and hit a tree and like just beeline straight down to the driveway. And my heart dropped. It like beeps all the time when it flies now. I was able to get it back together to the point that it still flies. But that one has seen better days now. I have a Mini 3 now, a Mini 3 Pro that I was using for the motorcycle channel, and it I don't know. I don't fly it hardly at all anymore. Like around here, being around DC, like it sucks. Like I have the app and I'm like I'm like between like 15 and 30 miles away from DC, so like I don't even know hardly I can fly it. Like sometimes it says like no fly zone, and then also being by the Navy Academy. It's wild that I had no idea that you knew how to do all the drone stuff and everything. I'm sorry that you had to sell a lot of stuff. Hopefully everything is going well. Yeah. A lot of restricted areas around here. And like BWI is not even that far either. Um, but yeah, like flying's super cool, but I feel like it just got being in this area, like it just got so airspace got so like held up that I just like lost interest because I didn't want to get in trouble for it. I like 2 times ago when I tried to fly my Mini 3, like I'd been so long, it like wasn't connecting to like login and everything, and like I flew it for like 2 minutes, and then all of a sudden, like on the screen, it just like popped up like unrestricted, not like area, but like unrestricted zone. Uh, like max flight is like 50 meters or 50 feet or something like that. And I just like pulled it right back in. And I've only touched it, I think, once since then. But also like the app I use, which I forget what it's called. I think it's like one of the main ones. Like when you zoom out to the whole US, like it's literally like DC and Baltimore area is like all covered, and like everywhere else is like free to fly. That's sweet. That would be cool to hang up. And like definitely keep those. It was really interesting when I was trying to learn more about like the brushless motors for like trying to figure out what I want to do with this. Just like finding all the drone forums and reading all those things about like different settings and like learning about like 2S, 3S, whatever battery pack you use versus like the brushless motor settings. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I have always lived around this area, like Annapolis, Maryland, and I love the historic atmosphere of it, but, or I guess not atmosphere. I love the town and like the architecture, but it's such a tourist town that I just get so frustrated all the time. And like trying to be on a motorcycle, a bicycle, driving around when I have my modified car, like just traffic all the time. Like it sucks. And my wife was from like 40 minutes south of here, and we lived down there for a while, and it was so nice and peaceful, like just being out of town. That's sweet. Yeah, I am just trying to figure out electronics now. Like, uh, finally got like a little mini solder gun. Um, my friend who built the his FPV like showed me the one that he recommended, which I do not have with me. Forget what one it is, but yeah, it. I used to ride um, Travis's house a whole bunch, and I like stopped riding BMX for a little bit to ride more road bikes. Now I'm like nervous about going back to his house or to his like ramps and everything. I would love to take my son there, but I don't want to just show up and get in trouble. Plus, like a lot of his ramps are have changed, and my son isn't necessarily that ready yet. But um, I've been taking him to Woodward. Want to take him back a couple more times this winter up in Woodward, PA, at Woodward Camp. What was I saying? I got my solder gun. I actually had to, when my son was driving his motor, had to resolder one of the power cables on the back side of the motor. Yeah, he is super cool. Yeah, I grew up riding BMX around downtown Annapolis with Jim the Champ, and that's how I ended up meeting Travis, and then starting to go to his house and ride all the time. And I think you're, now that I realize where you live, um, I think you're only like an hour, hour and 15 minutes or something north of there, maybe. Um, I know it's like, actually, no, you're even closer than that. You're probably like 45 minutes or 30 minutes because it's like Leesburg, it's like 30 minutes direct west. What was I saying? Oh, yeah. Just growing up with riding with Jim and like meeting them that way. Uh, yeah, 45 minutes. But yeah, it was super cool getting to do that, and those guys are just wild. Like all the Nitro Circus stuff, and they do high dollar trick bets, which was nuts. Saw Travis lose $100 in a matter of like 5 seconds. That's sweet. I keep forgetting that there's a cave there. I've never been to the cave. I would always go to, or when I got older, when I would go there, we would sneak out and go to State College. That's sweet. My son has a little electric dirt bike, and he really wants to get a bigger one, but like our lifestyle can't really afford to get into that. But I hope that he enjoys BMX just as much as I did. And Woodward has like a racing track there too, or at least used to. Last time I was there, I mean, it was over winter, but it looked a little mangled. I I always enjoyed watching like motocross and stuff. Um, I actually never really cared about motorcycles until my uncle passed away and my dad got his motorcycle because they used to do motorcycle trips all the time. And that really got my feet into that because I always rode BMX. Um, but then, like, very quickly, I got the BMW S1000RR when it came in all black in 2012. And became good friends with the dude who raced for the shop up in Jessup, Bob's BMW, what it used to be. And I would ride my bike from here to the track in West Virginia to like watch him race and like pit for him. And it was super cool. And like, it was cool because like um, what is it? I don't know. Like his old race parts he would give me, um, which was cool. But it was fun. He only raced on the track, and then like the other people that I rode with typically were older than me. Like I was young, mid 20s at the time, and all the people I rode with like the same like BMWs or Ducatis, they all were like mid 50s, and like everyone my age was like on Japanese bikes doing wheelies, which I was never really into. So then I got out of it, and now I have the um, Triumph Bobber. Yeah, man. Jason does talk to me. I talked to him about meeting up too. Um, yeah, so uh, one of my childhood friends that has always been in BMWs, he had a modified uh, M3 E30. He got the original 2010 S1000RR in like the BMW race colors. And he moved from here to California and then rode that motorcycle back here. And that was when I had my first Honda BFR from my uncle. And we rode, and the bike was beautiful. I loved how like the headlights were offset, the bearings were like made print. And then as soon as it came out in black in 2012, I was like, I have to have one. Yeah, man, no worries. It was good chatting with you. I'll talk to you soon. But yeah, anyone that has questions, let me know. Oh man, my power cable came out. Okay, we're good. I hope. Hope the computer doesn't die. Um, yeah. So anyone joining now, let me know if you have any questions on any of the trucks or really just anything. just hanging out. Actually try to tighten my clip on my main truck. Seems to still be tight. What do you guys want to talk about? You know, YouTubing is harder than I expected, but doing being able to do lives definitely makes it a little bit better for not being able to get on film because it's so cold. Also, as for my wife, I wonder if there's any channels that do lives all the time to make it just easier with not having to film or not filming. Make it easier with editing because I'm more of a mechanical hands-on person, not an editor. So like had to learn everything to make videos. RC truck videos are way easier than my other channel for motorcycles and photography. I wanted it. I wanted to make it nice and streamlined. This is much quicker, and also I get to do it with my son, but high learning curve on editing. But if you're live, you don't have to cut clips or anything. But yeah, I don't know. Ramble on about random stuff unless you guys have any questions. So I have, let's see, tips and tricks. Oh, so another thing I haven't talked about yet in any videos is I replaced my NSD RC servo with a cheap Amazon one, which I think is a knockoff of the Holmes Hobby one. Can you see that? The light in there. So this is a random 11 kilogram one from Amazon, and so far it's been super sweet. I ended up putting a little bit, okay, everything's backwards. The wire neck on the side of the servo, I ended up super gluing to the servo to get it to work and not catch on any articulation. But I put the Holmes Hobby one that I ordered in my son's truck and then put his Enduro one in here because I want to get him a little bit more power. And instead of running the Traxxas servo, this one is night and day better. But also with me running this slammed and vertical shocks and everything is I realized that I am like, there's no way to show it, like very limited on space of like the servo like coming all the way up and hitting the underside of the hood. So like you can hear the body have a little bit of rim in full compression. You can still hear it. So this servo and the NSD one are just a hair shorter. Never go anywhere without your trusty $35 ruler. Highly recommend getting one of these. I'm super OCD, and it's a clean cut edge of 12 inches or 305 millimeters. So it just starts like right at the edge. When you put it up against it, it's at 0. But I found out measuring these like that by where it mounts, like the bottom side, is that the single inch or the single millimeter, maybe a millimeter and a half higher, makes servos not work in my truck. And I really want to make my build something simple that you can just go and get everywhere. And I feel like for the most part it still kind of is, but I'm learning that like just like road bikes, a single millimeter can matter. So yeah, NSDRC servo. This is my second one, and it still has like glitching or like jittery issues, but I would keep this in my truck because I like set up and just unfortunately deal with it. But I'm super stoked that I found this one on Amazon, and I was definitely the person that just ordered a whole bunch of servos to measure them and figure out which one was the exact size that would fit in my truck. Because also for not running the standard bottom cups, like I run bicycle. Where can I show it? I run road bike, brake cable, housing, stops that I've modified as lower cups in the back, and then no springs up front, so I actually get a little bit more travel out of these shocks than you normally would. So it's another reason why I run them vertical. But I think that if I ran angled shocks, I would actually get SEX 24 shocks and run them. I get SEX 24 shocks and run them angled to have shorter shocks to not have more flex. Okay, let's see here. But yeah, doing my tune definitely think makes a huge difference. Definitely think makes a huge difference in how they perform, and 100% would recommend doing the tune, just because it makes the suspension so much nice and looser. And if you're slow crawling, it is, I think, night and day better. And like if you're slow crawling, you don't have to worry about your body just rolling over all the time. Just nice, smooth, slow, and controlled. I did it in this truck before my son and I started doing all of our ice driving. It's being snowed in here, and it has made such a difference. Like this truck, a lot of people like hate on the Land Rover body, and I think it is actually really sweet now. Like I like this because, let's see, like it sits lower, like the what is it, kick plates, whatever they're called, foot rails, sit almost flush with the actual chassis. The skid plate sits a hair lower, but it sits super flush with that, which is what I really liked about this body, is it sits nice and low and covers it. The Land Rover body, we've had all the Traxxas bodies now. The Land Rover body is the only one that sits as low as that, maybe even a hair lower. No, I'm looking at it. Yeah, so the Land Rover sits even like a hair lower. But that's why I really like this body. And also the look. Like the front ends are kind of squared off. I had the Chevy body at first. My son had a Ford body. Things I could do with a Chevy body, I could not do his truck with a Ford body because like all the bumpers and mounts are different. The chassis of the two High Trails are the same. The chassis of the two standard Bronco and Defenders are the same. But I could lower my Chevy and have it fully functioning with the Endura, like the Endura rear shock mounts. You can see that it's kind of like scrubbed from the body of the Chevy, and then the stock Bronco or Defender shock mounts in the front is how I ran my Chevy, and it's fully capable and like no issues with the steering horn hitting the clips or anything. But I try to do it with his Ford body because the Ford sits back a hair. I was running into issues with that, so I ended up like sanding down the servo horn and shortening his upper front lengths just the ever so slightest to try to get it to work like that, which was fine. And then one of our friends gave us a Bronco body, which my son really wanted on, so put it on, and he ended up cracking that pretty quick. So then he went back to his Ford body for a while. Then he got this body from another one of my friends, and with this one being so heavy at first, he loved how it looked, but like got really discouraged because like my truck, I put so much time into making like pinpoint perfect and dial it in exactly how I want it. So like I think it's a perfect mixture of looks and performance. And my son driving his with this body on it, he was just getting very discouraged because it kept flipping. But also, I'm willing to take accessories off of it to get the weight down. So my main truck, the body is around 80, like low 80 grams, like 82, 83, because I don't have the cross member in the back of it. Like that sits up across here, it goes angled down. Not a huge fan of how it looks. And then this body now is 130, even with the 6 bolts I put in the top. This one is 132, 135 grams. When I weighed it stock, it was 165 grams, I think. So took 30 grams off of it, and it is so much, performs so much better now. My son's Cherokee body, I think without a wheel in the back of the tire, weighs like 131 or 132. So like that body's sweet, and I personally decide to run the stock width. I just boost them out a millimeter on each side because I want them to run the same lines as SCX 24s because everyone does +4s on those. So this is, I looked it up, I'm pretty sure it's like down to the millimeter same. But I feel like it also fits the body because I don't want it like super wide. But my son has the +4 axles, which is what I put on my Chevy at first because I think it looks better, and Cherokee body definitely sits wider, and the plus 4 axles are perfect for it. Like the stance of it looks so good. His though, like, could use the rear wheels going further forwards a hair, but I did it just enough so there's not too much rubbing in the back or any at all. So he still had as long of a wheelbase as possible for the best performance. But him having his winch on the back has made up for any weight, because like I was lucky enough that I could figure out how to put a winch on the back of his truck coming out where what is it? I had to use a tow hitch, which I cut in half, and was able to use it as 2 mounting spots to make it a like non-moving pulley set up for it. But kind of wish I brought his truck, because his has a lot to talk about because it's sweet. But he's happy with it. I'm happy with it, and he hasn't broken it yet. So good bodies. 3D printed bodies are sweet. I just don't want to have a more fragile body than what this one is. So I don't know. I just, once I get this thing dialed in, I need to not tinker with it. I just need to go places and drive. But once it cools off, once it thaws, warms up, and we can go outside, I'm sure that I'll tinker a lot more. Once I get my new Muse remote, I'm going to make myself get used to it, make myself drive it, and hopefully not break it. Tell my wife that it's insane. I buy parts for his truck, or I buy parts for my truck, and then I upgrade them once I like realize why and what, and then I give him my hand-me-down parts. And I think that his truck runs better with my hand-me-down parts than mine ever did when I had them. And I don't know if it's because like I had so much more expectation, like dialing it in longer, where like I already knew what I needed to do to dial it in on his truck, that like I just slap it in his truck and like he goes and like within reason like just walks this line that I do with this, and it like blows my mind. But yeah, it's just always entertaining. And this truck got up to 750 at one point, 100 or 750 grams, and it has been on a diet, and I like could not get it down to 730, and then all of a sudden I weighed it the other day and it was down to 710. I have zero idea. I feel like they haven't even changed anything, and it just lost it. So I don't know. I'm stoked on it though. Very happy with how it performs. I tried running, like I went up to Trey's Rocks. I took these wheels with the little guy racing tires, and I wasn't sure how they were going to look on this truck, but I really dig it, and these are staying on this truck permanently now. But after that, I realized for my main truck, I'm not going to run anything besides J Concepts. I just like how they perform, running DJ Crawler inserts in all of them. So like these, for having smaller rings, these have a 31 millimeter ring. I don't need to cut any of the layers of the insert. I only cut the width down, which I did the same for my main truck. I cut the width down, but also with these running the Traxxas wheels with the Traxxas rings that have think it's a 35 and a half millimeter ring diameter. I cut the inside of the DJ Crawler inserts down, so it gives it like even a better sidewall with still being super soft. So with that being said, I just have gotten so used to how the J Concept tires run, and I love the Traxxas wheels. They look really good. But I'm going to have 3 sets of wheels. So the main wheels that I have right now, they're going to stay on it, are the black Traxxas plastic with the J Concept landmine tires. My silver wheels which I want to use when I like want it to be a little bit more scale, has my worn-in tusks. So that's going to stay on these wheels. Once these completely wear out, I will put them on, put the new tusk tires on here. And on my other set of wheels, which I don't have with me, another set of black Traxxas plastic ones, have the Bossmans on. So I'm learning to love those tires. I'm realizing the thinner tread, or like skinnier tread, is way better for like winter here. The Bossmans have a thicker tread, or like the block of it is thicker, but that is not great for it being cold. So I was almost going to give up on them, and then I saw someone sand them down. Both the tusks and the landmines are completely naturally worn in. I never liked, like, I understand wanting to like car metal your vehicle, but like all the scratches, all the wear and tear, I love it just being natural. But with the Bossmans, I was getting so frustrated because they were not working for me at all. So I ended up boiling them and sanding down the edges. It has made them night and day better. So I'm going to have those on the black wheels because I started getting good performance out of them. And also knowing that tread has different characteristics from the landmines and the tusks. I'm going to basically have all 3. So throw the silver on for when I want to do more scale stuff, and then keep the black on because I like black wheels the most. So also I want to do this at a different time, but I'll give you a little sneak peek of my camera backpack. Lighting probably is the best here, but typically, I can throw this back in here now. So typically when I'm going out, this is sitting in the bottom, and then the truck slides perfectly in there. And then I have like spare wheels, tires, my batteries, have everything like positioned in here, and then tools up here. Like there's little pockets, and there's like dividers in here, which are all modular. So able to just like hook the remote in here, and it fits perfect. And like my camera set up here. I got this backpack used from someone, and it's like a $350 backpack normally, but yeah, he was selling it for 200, still with tags on it. So I picked that up for all my camera stuff for the motorcycle channel, and just realized that like I have a little small, not point and shoot, but it basically is the size of one, and realized that this backpack for that little camera was just way too much. And then if I put all my drone stuff in here, it just got way too heavy for longer rides. So moved it over to my truck backpack, and it's perfect. I'm stoked on it. And like, since it's modular, if you change the height of anything, like, it's perfect for that. So, yeah, even though I'm gonna have to redo something once I get the Muse remote, because I've got the same one that my son has that doesn't have this base, so I can't like sit it in and sit up. I have to, I don't know, figure it out or something. But I'm so bummed that this remote's having issues, and just realizing that, I don't know, getting a $35 remote that my son has thrashed his, and it still works like the day that he got it. Scratches all over it. Also bummed because I put stickers on here, and like made it nice and fitting for me, and now it's having issues. What's going on, dude? Yeah, bummed that this remote is failing. So, yeah, Little Guy Racing, because that motor will be in my car or in my truck later tonight. Trying the Outrunner to get a little bit more low end torque. Found one good video. I run the Cedar motor now, and I want to say it's the Micro Komodo that I'm putting in there. Whatever one that the Little Guy Racing one is, because it's the same. Well, I got not know what it's called. The motor settings. Like both the Cedar and the Micro Komodo is the 3450 kilowatt. I don't know, whatever the rating is. I really wanted to do the Mini Komodo, but it seems like those are like out of stock everywhere. And for having a 4M, they only come with a 16 tooth KV. Thank you. Yeah, so both the Cedar motor that I have been running for over a year and the Little Guy Racing one both have the 3450 kV. I personally only want to run the Traxxas batteries, at least thus far. I wanted to get some Gen Ace ones, but with my having to get another new remote, I'm not going to have any spare money to buy that. So keeping with the Traxxas batteries, but motor-wise is I want a Outrunner motor because I want to see how the low-end torque performs with wanting to keep a 2S. I have done a bunch of tuning and got some of the like jitter out of, or not jitter, but like jumping out of it, like when it goes out of the FOC. So let me know how that goes, and what ESC do you have? Because I really like the Furatech ones, but I really like the Furatech ones, but I kind of think I heard that the Mofo batter or the Mofo orange pancake ones had a like stutter issue, but I don't know if that's different ESCs, because it seems like just from the internet and like watching a lot of 24 Yep is like different ESCs and tuning was like, I don't know. I'm still learning. Like Furatech is just way easier plug and play, and like the app is super nice. So I've kind of stuck with that to hopefully not have issues. Let me know how that goes. That has been a ESC. Like as I want to learn. Like I'm very interested in learning because like being on Facebook, everyone has their own opinion. But I only know FureTech and um, like the Intra brushed ESC, which my son has again. Um, I think that's way better for brush motor than a FureTech. But yeah, let me know how the Mofo goes because if the Micro Komodo isn't exactly what I want, I was thinking about getting a Mofo motor. I'm bummed because one of my friends from uh, a local RC club was going to give me a purple Mofo or an orange Mofo motor like a year ago, and he was just going to give it to me, and I told him no. And now, in hindsight, I wish I had it. Um, but yeah, I really want to try outrunner motors just because I don't care about the high end speed. I basically have mine like as geared down as possible. So like in the trans, I run 40-1 stock ratio on the front and minus 16 underdrive in the rear, and 2S at a 20C discharge with a cedar motor is still I'm finding a lot. So like trying to learn about in runners, outrunners. I'm trying the Little Guy Racing one because it's 40% off right now, so it's $24, which I feel like I couldn't beat that. Plus, it's all black. I'm not a huge red person, but I'm still gonna get all black motor in here. The ESC, I'm not going to take it out of the case. It's just going to be running um, the red aluminum body, but I'm going to try to tuck my wires a little bit better. I thought that this still looked pretty decent. I don't know. It could be worse, but I got some wire wrap. That's kind of like the Chinese finger trap stuff where you like push it together and it swells up so you can like push all the connectors through, and then once you release it, it like sucks down tighter. So I'm going to try to do that. It's going to be black. The motor's going to be black. I don't know. Try to tuck everything. I got a lot of different like connector ends. So this server that I'm running right now, I like cut half the wire off and like put a new connector on, and might do that again to get it a little bit shorter, but I just want to try to tidy it up enough. And yeah, so far I've had this servo for I think over a month now, but it's a Amazon special one that was like 30 some bucks, and I'm running it on 7.4 volts because I don't care to have like a super strong. I don't need a servo that is stronger than what I actually use. Like I don't run comps. I want something that when I want it to move, it moves. I So that's interesting to hear. I've not tried that. I thought about getting that for my truck, but like when I wanted to lose weight of it and like get the weight down, I heard with the Unity, like the in runner one and the outrunner like moto one, is reading that they were having like overheating issues. So you have yours. Have you had any of those issues? And how much does your truck weigh? So with trying to tune this, I've gotten the cog like cogging out of it. My settings that really made a huge difference to me is I run the punch at 7. I turned the FOC up to 30. I was running it at 20 and tried it even down at 10. I still don't really, I don't know, I can't tell a huge difference with that at 10 or 30. But then at the low speed, I run it at 55, and that seems to be like my sweet spot with this current setup. And my truck is with a battery, it's 710 at a perfect, it's like 60.4 front weight bias, and like I'm pretty sure it's like 50-50 side to side. Okay. So yeah, if you're up to it, screenshot your settings and post in my community tab, because I'm bummed that I did it now. I posted my settings like a couple weeks ago, and then I've been tuning and changing and everything. I ended up deleting that post, and then ironically now my settings are almost the same as what it was. Yeah, so I turned my drag brake down to 24 over having it set at 44. I've never had mine overheat. I've had them like get hot, but that's like 90-degree summer days. But I've never had it beep or turn off or anything like that. I turned the drag brake down to 24. I don't know if that's going to be too little. With the outrunner motor that I'm getting, it will be, I think we'll have a better drag brake. What else did you say? Cogging, crawler gears. So I do have the crawler gears in here. Trying to learn from the guy at Holmes Hobby is like, it seems like I want to gear down a hair more with having this high of a KV motor for also wanting to keep 2S. And this is just what I'm reading and how I'm comprehending it is if you're wanting to run lower amp hour batteries to have a higher KV motor, well, yeah, just post it whenever you get back, 'cause I'm very interested in just learning. And it seems like we both run FureTech, and both of our trucks are roughly the same weight. What was I saying? So I want to keep 2S because it's lighter, but I'm trying to figure out, because with brushless, I've only ran this Cedar motor, the Little Guy Racing Komodo that I'm going to put in there is the same KV, but it's outrunner rather than inrunner. I'm interested to see what the difference is with that. The only video that I found comparing them was someone with more of a stock Land Rover, and was kind of just he went to his local crawler course and like ran it over some obstacles, but was like pinning it and like my type of driving. But his only thing was he was saying that with the same KV, he had two completely different motor boxes, so you could just undo the 4 bolts, pull it out, and put the other one in with the same drive shafts and all that nonsense. But he said Cedar versus the Komodo with the same KV settings or KV rating. He said that the Komodo seemed to crawl smoother at slower speed and seemed to have less wheel speed. So the Cedar one had better top end, but was not as smooth on low speed. So with how well my Cedar motor is driving now with the tuning I've done to it. I'm content with this one, but wanting to just tweak every little thing out is, I think, having still a 3050 AV with a 4S or with a 2 will be what I want, hopefully. Whenever I do get different batteries other than the Traxxas ones, because they're only a 20C discharge rate, that when I get the Gen Ace ones, I would get the Adventure 400 packs. So it would be less, just a hair less than half the weight of the Traxxas ones I'm running. Granted, I'll have to change them. I'll need like 2 of the Gen Ace batteries versus 1 Traxxas, because it's going from 700 to 400. But the discharge rate of the Gen Ace packs are 35C, which I may limit it in my Python Pro down to 30C max, just so it hopefully have the less chance of frying the ESC. Yeah. The only thing that I read with, or one thing that I read with the PureTech motors and having high KV is, if you, even though if you run 2S, if you have a low C rating, discharge rating, is that could also cause clogging. So I don't want to run a like 3S 65 or something discharge. I just feel like that's way too much power and everything for not needing it for my driving. So yeah, I'm perfectly fine with 2S. I'm going to try the Little Guy Racing Komodo motor. If that's not enough, I might try to find the like Pancake PureTech one, or maybe even Mofo, and try to find like a mid 2000s. Yeah, so 3S, like looking at batteries, because I was open to like going to 3S, is so I do have to go in like 5-10 minutes, but so yeah, have both one, like my son's 1000, my 750. So like this is 50 grams. This one is 40 grams. This is what I run because it fits with his body and everything, and it's smaller and lighter. But like I like the long drive time of this, and yeah. So it's only 20C discharge. I'm perfectly content with what power and punch I'm getting out of this. So 3S seemed to be roughly like 350. Sorry. What was I gonna say? Weight wise, 3S seemed to be like 350 to 400 milliamp hours, but like almost 30 grams of weight. Or maybe even 40 grams, but like it's going from 40 grams to half the amp hour to having more punch, which is something that like I don't really care to have. So just because I try to drive as slow as possible most of the time. So the Gen Ace batteries, the 2S ones that have the 3.5C discharge, which I'll probably cap it to 30 with the ESC limiting it. That goes from 40 grams. It states that they're 17 grams when I get them, but I want to try to add like a scale accessory. So you can see the battery tray down here, and like this one, like I run it like little stickers, so like the sticker just hangs out the back, which I'm sure you've seen in the videos. But that'll take more weight off the back half of the truck. So then I'm going to try to get like a cooler or something to sit in there to have a nice little scale accessory. But that's basically my only reason, one of my only reasons of like dropping down in batteries. Minus the fact of if I do have clogging, that's going to be the next thing that I try to up the discharge rate to get the clogging at low speed out. But if you're smooth with the trigger, at least with my settings and this remote for now, if you guys weren't here in the beginning, this one is already having steering input issues, and I think I'm taking blame for it because I have a medium-sized hand, and it seems like when I drive like this, I'm putting so much lateral pressure that it's breaking the sensor. Like you can see that there's already clay with it, so bummed about that. But trying to drive super sensitive throttle with my settings at low speed 55 and punch at 7. I've basically got the clogging out, at least I think. So that's interesting, is like from what I'm reading is like Holmes Hobby, like was it gear down, amp up, or amp up, gear down, or something like that, where now he's saying like KV up, gear down. So like I already run a high KV, but he said like if you have the battery, which you like, which you should already do, if you still want more torque, is to do a higher KV. His videos are awesome. I don't fully understand all of them, but I'm learning. Always love math and geometry and whatnot. So, yeah, that's interesting, especially if you go back and forth between 2S and 3S to see what like the throttle ratio is without adjusting any other settings. I'd be interested to know that. What's I going to say? So yeah, I think I'm going to be perfect. Like I'm happy with what I already have. I bought the Little Guy Racing motor because it's Outrunner and all black. So that's coming today. I'm excited to get that in and see what it is like with these batteries. And then if by chance I still want lower gearing or like a bigger range of it, which I just if, I will try to go down to a like 2500 kV motor. I really wanted the Holmes Hobby new outboard motor that he's coming out with. He's going to have, I think he said 35 and a 2200. But I don't know. Trying to tune my son's brush motor with a Python Pro that he had, I was less than impressed about. So I'm like nervous about not using, granted that's brushed, but I'm nervous about not using a Furatech motor to have like full adjustability settings with a Furatech ESC. So I put his Endura brushed ESC back in his truck, and it is actually quite night and day better than the Python Pro, which I'm highly shocked about. Now I have a spare Python Pro that is going to be a motor or a spare ESC for me. And then comparing his with the Holmes Hobby 66 turn we raced, because I have lower gears in this. I have lower gears at the 40-1 ratio in here, he has the 24-to-1 ratio in his, but with a stock Traxxas motor. And I want him to have a little bit more drag brake. So I'm going to get him a Homes Hobby 87 turn motor. And then he has, which this truck has as well, the Trio 16% overdrive and the stock gear ratio on the back. He is still learning. Like, he's a great driver, but he still cares about going fast and jumping it, which I'm trying to get him to understand is not how you drive these type of trucks. But I'm going to lower his gear ratio down to what I have in mine, which is stock gear ratio front and 16% underdrive in the back. So I think that will, even with a 24 gear ratio and a lower turn brushed motor, will be sweet. And going back to the Endura, ESC with his use remote is actually dialed. It's like way better than the brush setup that I had in mind. It's essentially exactly what's in here, which doesn't have that much top end, but also isn't quite as smooth with the Traxxas controller. I love it. It is literally just the best thing ever. Like, I'm so stoked that he actually cares, like, he's interested in it and cares about it. And like, I mean, he gets frustrated when I try to share techniques with him, but like, having him excited and like trying to figure out exactly what he wants is like, some more recent videos is like, got a rear winch figured out in his truck. So like, the Cherokee body, so like you can fit it in the back. I really wish I brought his truck, but like, he runs ESC on this side, receiver on this side, and then like the mounting holes for this ESC, I used a lay down front servo mount there with the Endura 7 kilograms winch servo, and I took one High Trail tow hitch and cut it in half, and was able to drill 2 holes in it and use it to like fully run the whole line. So like, you can see in the videos that he like winched me up, and like, he's so stoked for that. But yeah, he's an amazing driver. It's so fun to do that, and that's one reason why like I'm prioritizing this channel over my motorcycle channel. Is like, it's way more enjoyable being able to do it with him. It's way more practical, like having fun. Like, he can be with me, my wife's working, like we can film. Essentially both of us will be working at that point, because like, she's doing her job, I'm filming for this channel. Editing is way easier than the motorcycle channel. Yeah, like, it's super cool, and like I love it. Like, he's so excited, like when he gets to winch me. He gets so annoyed, like if my truck is actually able to do something, he like, no, like, you stop there and like let me winch him. Like, I want to just drive up it. But I wish that on my IR40 body, or really front bumper, there's a place to put like one of these little hooks, or even on the but I just let him hook it to my steering link. So this is one thing that I keep talking about, which I think is such a huge pro, is I still run a vertical servo. I got the Endura like metal, like 5-piece steering link, and then this is just a Endura high clearance, high trail, high clearance link that my son and I run on both of ours. And the main reason is to have a front differential clearance. So like, I think you get way more steering angle than having a one piece. I think between the two knuckles and going here, it binds too much, which actually really limits your steering. But yeah, stock chassis, vertical steering, vertical servo is just my personal taste and preference. But doing the two-piece steering link, I think it looks better because it looks real or more scale. And I definitely think it gives you more of a steering angle than like this. So like this is still pretty good, but I don't know, I think it just gives you a little bit. But also with the stock Traxxas ball joints, you still get the bind of that. Like I tried lubing those, but it just seems to be like pulling a whole bunch of grease. And watching Logan at Westes Wheeler, he said that he doesn't grease anything that like dirt can get into because he said it just collects. So I'm starting to not run anything in mine. We'll see how that goes. And then running this Amazon special servo, which I'm actually loving, and I super glued the wire down to the side so it doesn't hit an articulation on the shock mounts. Yeah. Yeah, for winching, I thought it was perfect because like our video when we went to Trey's Rocks, I wanted to see what all lines I could do because I've done most of them. But my truck, I think, is like so much more dialed in than when I went the last two times. And we went up this time, I'm trying to run all the lines, uncut clips to show like I'm not a perfect driver, but I think I'm way better than I used to be. Plus, my truck is way more dialed in, and just running like connecting multiple hard spots together, I was super proud of. I'm super stoked on that. And there's the up by the upper Drunken Frog. There's the high, like the high clearance line that the line that you need high clearance for, which I knew I would belly out. Like I like having a belly dragger because it like helps me control it. That one I don't know. Like I knew I wasn't going to make it up, and I thought it was perfect to have my son winch me because yeah, he's just so stoked to have the winch. Like I knew that he was going to be super excited to be able to winch me up. And I thought it was super fitting because like I knew I wasn't going to be able to make it. Like I tried it a couple times, which is like when I drove up the like really vertical V crack and then made my way over to the Mayhem line, and you can see the clip cut to me being over there. I try to make it look pretty good, but yeah, he was just so stoked to winch me up that. I knew I wasn't going to make it. Like I tried it multiple times and like tried every little feathering and like could not do it. And it's just one of those things where I love my truck how it is, and like I will take the L on that line. But when him winching me up is super cool, and I thought it was just perfect. Kind of wish I put his clip of like driving to the top first. I feel like would have made more sense. Vertical. So one thing that I've started noticing, because like yeah, like minis, everyone does like a lay down servo where like it's fine, it's cool, it's just not for me. Like I like the stock chassis, and like shock angles and whatnot is like I don't want my wheel width, wheelbase. Uh, I don't want my wheels too wide. I've already said multiple times. Like I run the stock axles with just the 5 millimeter Endura hexes. So this should be the same exact width, like to the millimeter, as SCX 24s with +4 axles. But that's why I did that. And like if I run angled shocks, the tires rub, as well as I have way too much flex because fortunately, let's see. So like with it fully out, basically this gap is like one tire height almost perfectly, and that's with completely vertical 53 millimeter shocks. So like I think that running them laid down, I would 100% do SCX 24 like 40 millimeter big bore Enduro shocks and do my tune on them. But like I like the vertical ones. Like I like finding out like when you're trying to go up something steep and like how the wheels like will pull down. It's and like when you're going downhill, it won't. I don't know. I just really like the angles of the shocks. Okay, so back to the servo. So if you look at a lot of like cheater rigs and class 2, or I guess even class 1 tenth scales, they have like the class 1s have vertical chassis mounted servos, and then class 2 ones, which is super cool because they like tuck them in next to the drive shaft, but like they're also like vertical, but they're just completely upside down. So like what you said, like I've never ran a lay down servo, but like what you said is like it very well could be like better performance in some way. I don't know. Sorry, I'm a slow reader. Yeah, I like to think that I did really good at Trey's rocks. Like it's like even talking to Trey about it is um like it's difficult because I've always been a like one BMX bike, never like riding other people's bikes. My one truck, minus the fact that I have this tow rig, and have been driving this more this past 2 weeks because of the snow and ice here. It's like I only like having one and just like learning it completely in and out, dialing it in how I want it. And like that's the tough thing is like I don't know Trey's rocks like anywhere near as well as he does, but it's interesting seeing like me knowing and having my truck dialed in and knowing my truck in and out versus him knowing his rocks in and out, but driving different people's setups. So like tons of talking on that, and like that's something that's super cool and like just really interesting. And like even when the couple times when he did come out when we were up there, um, him driving, like you see him driving either his trucks or other people's trucks, but him bringing out his own trucks and like it either being a brand new build that he's never driven before or a build that like one of his older builds that like hasn't changed much for a little while, but like seeing the difference between I don't know different trucks and um, his driving style, and also like I feel like you do need to learn how to drive. Like he's a good driver, great driver, and like also like he does phenomenal for like driving all these different trucks with tons of different setups. I think him knowing those rocks in and out makes up for driving all the different trucks with different settings and whatnot. Plus, like, he loves learning and loves like understanding different setups and everything. And it's like a completely um, opposite way that I do, because like uh, I like having my truck dialed in exactly how I want it, and like that's it. I want to drive other stuff. Um, but yeah, it's been super cool because like getting to know him, and like him and I are like complete opposites, but in well meshed ways, if that makes sense. Um, but yeah, his rocks are sweet, and they literally seem like they were made for mini trucks. Like, if you ask Mother Nature to make you like perfect rocks for 24 and 18 scale rocks, like that's what you would get. And also, if you're further further east in PA, Samuel Lewis State Park on the east side of York, Pennsylvania, the rocks are amazing. I can't wait to go back up there. But yeah, I don't know. Want to get the new motor dialed in, get the new motor dialed in, get my new remote dialed in. And basically the way that I'm viewing remotes now is I'm just going to run the $35 Muse one. I have one truck. This can keep the Traxxas battery, so if any of my son's friends want to drive it, they can crash on that. But I'm just going to get used to his smaller Muse remote. Because like he has small hands for him being his age. I feel like I have medium-sized hands compared to going to the hobby and the owner. The Spectrum remote has giant hands, and like his thumb reached over, and like mine is like that far away. I'm like, I don't understand. But yeah, I'm just gonna run the cheap $35 remote and call it a day. And like, if I'm somehow breaking remotes multiple times a year, I'd rather just replace it with a $35 one. And my son has had his since July, I think it was, and like really just yesterday, like dropped it down the ice and like slid all the way down the hill, picked up perfectly fine. But I am gonna have to get off soon. My wife needs to go to work in a little bit, and she's already gonna politely kill me. But do you guys have any more questions about anything that I can try to go over real quick? Okay, man. Thank you for coming. I want to do more lives. I think this is fun. Kind of awkward. I feel like I'm kind of awkward, but I don't know. I want to share so really quick. I like the way that I want to kind of like base my channel, which I kind of feel like I've been, but basically like it seems like nowadays everyone's like, oh, I'll like buy my subscription and like learn what I know and whatnot. But like I don't have like my family and I, like we live very low income, because we care to spend more time with each other and exploring around and doing things, like spending more family time. And like my son's only going to be his age for a short amount of time. Like he's going to be as old as I am soon. But I'm giving away all my knowledge, everything for free. Like I hope it helps people out. Like I know that's what I would want. Like if I, not that I play the lottery, but like if I was ever to win the lottery, like people who help me out, like I want to support them. And like that's kind of how I'm gonna base my channel, is like I'm going to give all the knowledge that I have out. Is like I have different videos explaining like my shock tuning. I don't even know. I can't think of anything right now. Like shock tuning, anything I've figured out with drivetrains, whatnot. But basically, I have a Patreon that is linked to this channel now. It's originally for my motorcycle channel only, but the way that I'm doing everything now is if you guys can and want to, and obviously don't stretch yourselves, but like if you can help out by doing Patreon, or when my truck channel gets monetized, like you can be a member on here. Not at that point yet, but I do have the Patreon. What up, Trey? Yeah, basically going for that. I'm giving out all my knowledge and everything for free. And then if you guys are in the place of being able to help, I do have my Patreon. I believe under every video, maybe, or at least to like my profile and my YouTube channel. But that's basically how I'm going, because I appreciate help and like his hobby. I love watching his videos and learning, and like subscribe. So same thing goes for here. But I don't know. I don't feel like it's fair. Like it's what's making, not to get political, but like our country needs to be more as in one, other than like comparing and competing with each other. So yeah, that is that. And Trey, we just talked about you and your rocks a little bit, but yeah, your rocks are Mother Nature's gift. So yeah, I want to do more lives. I want to do more crawling meetups and try to do like at least one per season. Spring meetup will probably be, or next meetup will probably be at Samuel Lewis Park again. I don't have Cash App. I should look at what that is. I had like a, what is it, buy me a coffee or whatever one. I use Patreon because it's just simple and one thing other than YouTube. But I'll look into that and see. I don't know. I'm always down to try new things. Yeah, dude, I have to say PA has my favorite rocks I've ever driven. Your rocks, Samuel Lewis Park. It's like, I know that we talk about like different rock. I want to do a lot more learning on like rock surfaces, so I can be like, oh, like if you come to this area, like these are sandstone, or these are river rocks, or mossy mountain rocks. But I will learn more about that, so to help out with wanting this channel to be kind of like a visual bash maps and like meeting up, and for being an introvert, trying to do more meetups and branch out, not be so shy. Yeah, so far, Virginia, Maryland, kind of Delaware, Pennsylvania, New York. Maryland, Virginia, Delaware, PA. What am I doing wrong? Maryland, Virginia, Delaware, PA, New York. Okay, I'm not an idiot. A little bit. Those are all the states I've been in so far, and PA has been my favorite. But yeah, J Concepts are the tires that I will be running and judging that. My personal judging. Little Guy Racing tires with the correct inserts, or correct inserts for me, the DJ Crawler ones, which Amazon seems to not have anymore, are my favorite tune for this. It's made Little Guy Racing tires way better to me, and I don't know why all my Enduro tires, um, the performance is going down. The longer I drive them, they go down. I don't know why. I don't know if my rocks, my local rocks here, have something that don't work with the compound of those. And or like going to New York and driving those waterfalls with the Maverick tires. Like the Maverick tires since that trip have just gone straight down. I don't know what it is. I will be down to Great Smoky Mountains. I want to go down there. I Asheville area, Great Smoky Mountains. There's a skate park in Cherokee, North Carolina that is like long-term bucket list that I want to go and ride. I'll be down that way. And crawl too. Tire compound, yes. I don't know why. Like everyone loves Enduro tires and seems to have good luck with them, like all different treads and whatnot. Maverick tires, the Rock Terrain tires, like walked up, same stuff that like I would always like compare J Concepts to. And more I drive them, like we're traveling around driving different rocks, like I don't know what it is, but it seems like more rocks I drive, more kind of worn in that they get, but like I don't know what it is, but like the Enduro tires specifically have like just bombed. And that's interesting because like Little Guy Racing tires, like they were the first aftermarket tire I got, and like once I got J Concept tires, the Tusks, like it was night and day difference. But like then I was like, oh, like these aren't that great. But then once I like cut and modified DJ Crawler inserts, like they got so much better. And like I run the Trail brass wheels and then have the plastic rings on the back. So like the face of the wheel is still weighted, but then the fronts are just like brass rings too to get like the weight balance. But yeah, like I did not ever expect to say that I like Little Guy Racing tires more than Enduros until they started breaking in with where I went, and then Little Guy Racing tires are actually pretty sweet. Like doing the line at doing the Drunken Frog on Trey's Rocks. Test tires were able to walk up his line every single time. Like if I like, you can definitely line your truck up wrong, but the test tires, J Concept test tires are the only J Concept tires I've driven there. But they just walked up his line like nicely. When I did it back to back, same day and everything, like 15 minutes apart with the Little Guy Racing, it was definitely more difficult. It did it, but it was definitely more difficult. So it's super interesting tires and inserts and everything. But I'm stoked to make it up with those. I really want the new, whatever the new ones that just came out with. I like the scale tread, but I'm sick of J Concepts. And there's so many J Concepts from trying to do the tire comparison, and then it's not working out how I wanted it. But yeah, I got to go. So my wife doesn't call me because she needs to go to work. So yeah, thank you guys for hanging out. I will be doing more lives. Try to do it once a week or once a month. Getting to that, and then keeping a driving video once a week, as long as it's not feels like negatives outside. Oh, Trey. And then your little guy tell me to turn on power. But yeah, also this remote is starting to glitch. Yeah, I think with me driving like this, it's messing up steering. So I ordered the same remote that my son has, going to Muse because apparently not nice remotes, even though I don't drop them. And as you know, my son drops his, puts it through the rings, but it still goes. So I'm running a $35 Muse remote as long as it connects and works, and just replacing it with that. So yeah, definitely try J Concept tires. Tusks I love completely all the way. Like new or worn in, they get better. Landmines were either all or nothing traction when I got them. Now that they're worn in, the Tusks and landmines were naturally worn in. These are competing to my favorite. Like, if you want to be able to slide a little bit more, landmines. If you want full on traction, Tusks. Bossman's needed. I had to sand down. I didn't have to, but I chose to sand down and boil, and those are sweet now. Performance is way better. Rock bumps are just awesome. Like good traction and everything. My son loves them, and like I think you can put them on almost a stock truck and they'll like go comp with it. Which I guess why they're comp pins basically. I haven't done, or I've done ruptures have way too much side tread for me. It just grabs my truck and throws it, and it's not my driving style. But they're sweet if you want side tread. Those are awesome. And then I haven't tried the Scorpios, and I haven't tried the Megalithics, but maybe in the future. But I do have to go. Thank you guys for coming and hanging out. I will be doing this more, and yeah, see you guys in the next one.